I hope you guys can see this. So
Yes.
can you see it, Apostle?
Yeah. I saw this picture, but
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to bring it visually because I think it's important to see the yellow highlights at the very top. It's called the capstone.
Mhm.
The capstone, and if when we talked about this definition and how it was used as, let's look at the original Hebrew word, where it talked about construct, to build. This is the final stone that's
Yeah.
actually laid on the structure.
Mhm.
And if you can see how it's actually positioned, this is why it's called the capstone. And then interesting, the keystone, we're not going to focus on that, but it's interesting because in the research, the keystone, you see how it actually is sort of like the middle stone for
Mhm.
that entranceway. Because when we think about biblical times, this is how they fortified their cities.
Yeah.
They had the gates, they had the walls that are around the cities because they had to be protected from their enemies. But if you look at the bottom, that yellow, that's the cornerstone. And interesting enough, if you bring that modern day, the cornerstone, if you think about it, you can see like on buildings, like in the natural, you can actually see on the cornerstones where they actually have like writings where it says established in 1918 or whatever the case may be. And so you can see the distinction between the capstone and the cornerstone. And I found this so interesting because the cornerstone is the first stone, and we'll get into that. But the capstone is important to mention because when Zechariah talked about this capstone and when the Lord brought it back to our remembrance in this word, it really signifies how it's finished. And so let's bring that now modern day. I think I can.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good illustration.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that because I think that there's an interesting point that the Holy Spirit was making when he wanted to bring out the point of the capstone, because the capstone and the cornerstone really are the foundation and the
Yes.
finishing of the product. And so that to me really signifies exactly what Jesus did. He was the foundation of the church, but he was also the finishing of it. And
Yes.
so to make that distinction, I thought it was and so now let's think about that modern day, because we'll get into it a little bit, but how now we're seeing, and we talked about it just a minute ago, how we see so many different types of doctrines, different types of things that are trying to now make some type of, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's almost as if they're now trying to say that things have not been finished because of all the unnecessary and erroneous teachings and things that they're trying to add to, in saying that Jesus has not finished the work. And Jesus has finished the work. Jesus is the finished work. And
Yeah.
so I think that capstone and the cornerstone are so important to realize that the foundation has already been laid. And herein lies the error, because I think we mentioned this on the last broadcast. I think it's in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, where it talks about the building. Where I think Eric had mentioned this a little bit,
Yes.
where the different types of things that are used in order to build. If Jesus is not the foundation, cornerstone of whatever we're building, then it's not going to last.